Well, hello, welcome back to the Church History Trail, and today we find ourselves in MOIRA, County Down, and we're actually in Morrow Domain. And there used to be a castle on this site, and unfortunately it's not here now, but you can see a map there, and you can see the castle actually in the middle there of what they believe the castle looked like. But the grounds were quite extensive, and it's a very good map and shows you can see St John's Church there, the parish church, which is still a church today. And there's also another wee map here, and these were exotic gardens. The gardens were fantastic, and it's all marked out here of what went where. And it was actually Sir Arthur Rawdon who inherited his title and MOIRA Castle from his father George Rawdon in the 17th century. Now, Arthur was actually born here, and he also grew up here, so he was a MOIRA man himself. And when he inherited his father's lands in MOIRA, he actually rebuilt the mansion, which became one of the most magnificent castles in the country. And as I say, unfortunately the castle's not here anymore. The castle is gone. The castle would have been just in this area here in front of me, and unfortunately it's gone now. But I'm sure it was a fantastic place. I seen a painting of it, which was dated 1799, and it looked absolutely fantastic. And after what's known as the Glorious Revolution of 1688, he was actually involved in the raising of the Army of the North, which was a Williamite force, which was opposed to the Jacobite Irish army. And he actually rose to the rank of general in the Williamite army. And this ground here would have been full actually of troops there would have been hundreds of mounted troops actually here preparing for the Battle of the Boyne. And Rawdon actually took part in military actions. He took part at Carrickfergus. The Council of the North forces actually tried to capture the castle in 1689 from the Jacobites before the siege of Marshal Schomberg in 1689. And also they took part in the break of Dromore, and both actions were actually unsuccessful on the Williamite side, and the Jacobites were victorious. And he was actually also an MP for Down from 1662 to 1695. And if you want to check out the break of Dromore or Carrickfergus, then I have wee videos that previously I have done on those. And Sir Arthur actually also became known as the father of Irish gardening. He was a great gardener. He loved the garden, and with the help of advice from his friend, the great botanist Hans Sloane, Arthur built the first hothouse in Ireland and laid out MOIRA Domain with trees and exotic plants from Jamaica. And of course we enjoy MOIRA Domain today. It's open to the public and you can walk around. And also, if you remember, we looked at Hans Sloane, where Hans Sloane actually lived. His house is gone, but he was born in a house in Killalay, and we looked at that in another wee video. And Arthur Rawdon then was born on the 17th of October 1662, but he also died on the 17th of October. He died on the 17th of October 1695. And although the castle is gone, we still have the ruins of the stable block, and that's what these walls are here. They're actually the ruins of what was once the stable block of the castle. Just a pity there's not a wee billboard here, because you wouldn't know what these ruins were. Only I done a wee bit of digging and I found out that they're actually the ruins of the stable block. And as you can see, there's still quite a lot of them here, which is fantastic. Still pretty good. It's good to have a connection with the Rawdons of MOIRA. And so this was the stable block, as you can see. And you can see the wall going along there, and also in the distance there, just over there, you can see two pillars. And they look to me to be of a gateway at one stage. Now, you can't see too much here today of the grounds because obviously with the fog, and it was a really frosty morning this morning, and a really cold day. And of course the fog really hasn't lifted today. But we'll just make our way over to these two pillars and we'll have a wee look at them. I would reckon that that was probably a gateway into the stable at one time, because they're probably, I would say, here when the stable was actually here. So I would assume that's what they are. And there's actually different places in MOIRA that's named after the RAWDONs, so there is. And so the family were a big family. They were well to do. They were part of what you would call the aristocracy. And so we'll get a wee look at these pillars. Again, you can see at least some of the domain. It's hard to see because of the fog. So there's a lot of history here in MOIRA. And also, John Wesley also preached from the steps here of the castle. And I'll be talking a wee bit about John Wesley shortly in another wee video. And so there's the pillars. And you can see the holes where the gates were. And so I reckon that was probably the pillars for the castle, or for the storage, the stables, the pillar for the stables. That would be my guess anyway. But certainly that's the ruins of the stables. And so I hope you've enjoyed our wee visit to MOIRA Domain. And if you like the Church History channel, then why don't you give me a wee like and subscribe? Thank you. God bless.